Okay. Yeah, I'm Justine Blomeley, and I also work at Sport England, and I have the dubious honour of standing in for our chief exec this morning, which is probably a bit of a challenge. I already feel quite humbled by what I've heard this morning, and some really powerful things. A lot that came from Janet for first off this morning was really really great to hear. So I just wanted to start this morning really by saying how good it is to be invited to an event like this, that is all about better connection and creating a better connected community. As I move through what I'm going to say, you will hopefully see why this is important to Sport England. Why am I here representing Sport England? We are an arm's length government body that was created by Royal Charter back in 1996 with the prime purpose of funding grassroots sport and physical activity to get and keep the nation active. As an organisation, we use a combination of lottery and exchequer money to fund projects and programmes, as well as investing in facilities to get people more active and more to sustain that habit. By the time we were embarking on our last strategy in 2016, we were beginning to recognise and acknowledge that whilst projects and programmes are well intentioned, there were time and finance limited, and therefore weren't shifting the dial in terms of sustaining people's activity levels. This led to us to a starting point that every individual doesn't live in a vacuum. They live in a place, they live within a community, each with its own unique structure, relationships and geography. We therefore decided to embark on a journey of discovery and spent much of 2017 selecting places to go on this journey with us. The interest in being in part of this was overwhelming. Over 700 people attended our workshops. We shortlisted down to 19 places and made day-long visits to each of them to check that we had the right people on our journey. In the end, we selected 12 places that were a deliberate mix of coastal, rural, industrial, inner cities, and so on. I am delighted to say that Pennine, Lancashire was one of the 12. Now we were in uncharted territory. For us and the pilots, we had no plan, no roadmap. So together with the pilots, we pledged to do things differently and to avoid defaulting to norms. Our start point was to work collaboratively with the pilots, a word I've heard quite a lot this morning, to understand their needs and for them to understand how we could change our approach. This development of a trusted relationship has been and continues to be the foundation of our work together. The work of the pilots is focused around the view of changing people's approach to leading an active, healthy, happy life, away from disconnected projects and programmes to that of a whole system approach. This recognises that there are literally thousands of influences on our lives that help or hinder why we are active or not. That people's own motivation is only a very small part of the overall picture. In order to make these changes, there needs to be a redesign of places, policies, systems, practices, and cultures at a population level in order to make this fundamental shift that can become sustained. We need to start with where individuals are. We need to focus our attention on what matters to them, not what fits and is easy and neat for us at a national or even at a council level. The Pennine Lancashire pilot, Together an Active Future, is by its nature connected and hopeful. It is made up of the 6 East Lancashire local authorities, 500,000 people, 1/5 of whom are inactive. And even before the pandemic, we're facing stubborn inequalities. Its work is focused around some key principles. Empowering people to see and want to be part of the system change is key. Something that has been reiterated several times this morning by different people. Empowering people is really key. Being authentic and creative about the way in which you engage with people at a local level is key. Building on assets is critical, both the physical ones, but also those that exist within individuals. From a national perspective, we have a tendency to create things in a dark room and then almost chuck it out, thinking that that is what will help people universally. Through our work, we have realised that what is needed is not more supply, but better connection. The joining of the dots done through the eyes of people locally, not from some external perspective. Collaborations need to go beyond the usual partnerships. They need to focus on not on themselves, but on shared outcomes for the communities they are serving. This is a big shift, both literally and in mindset terms, to move away from transactional relationships to those of meaning and genuine shared connectivity. Through the work of the pilot here in Pennine, Lancashire, Together an Active Future has had a relentless focus on all of the above, through the mantra of the look, the sound, and the feel. It has therefore been great to see how at the start of the pandemic, this way of working was then used to start the work of Rossendale Connected. That bringing together of statutory, third sector and voluntary groups and organisations, many of whom I think I can see today, and of the council letting go of power and of empowering people at a local level to take and make decisions, the whole approach being about getting things done. So to finish, I would like to say that through the work we are endeavouring at Sport England and through the work of the pilots and that of the Pennine Lancashire pilot, we are hugely supportive of where you have got to and what you have achieved, and would strongly encourage you to keep going, doing things differently. Thank you.